snow.
Watch out!
No time to lose. Cut the wind. You can't. Stay focused.
Try this one! Bouncy whirlwind!
Music is the rhythm of life. Restore order.
Buckle bubble!
I see it.
Off you go!
Under stars and moon, through frost and snow. Blizzard right. Instant winter.
Fancy time!
You can't. Scatter.
Watch this! Medium ice star!
I see it. Scatter. Red camellia falls in snow.
Watch out!
Blizzard rising.
Exploding bomb!
Restore order. The blade knows my heart. Ride the wind. Ride the wind. Cut through darkness. We'll be fine. Split the heavens. Radiant cloud.
You can leave the fire.
The sword follows my well, and winds howl in the heavens. Lightning. Judgment. This is it. Watch out. Frost glistens. Radiant cloud. Split the heavens. The measure of steel slices the world through. Let this sword array send you away.
Got one for complaints. Spot an ethereal. Yep. Shit. Scrolling. A complaint? Too late for that. Hello.
The sword follows my well, and winds howl in the heavens. Frost glistens. Split the heavens. Light.
Forward. Turn around. I'll be fine.
Hero retreats. I see orange.
Lightning. Great.
Judgment. measure of steel slices the world through. Frost glistens. Radiant cloud.
Let's keep this advantage.
The sword follows my will and winds howl in the heavens. Split the heavens. Radiant cloud. Yeshengwang Yunquai Summit, breaking all illusions.
Intercept! Seal! 3, 1!
Yeah. Hero strong. Split the heavens.
Incoming!
Lightning. The measure of steel slices the world through. Create the most beautiful stage! Not done yet! Keep up with the beat! I'll take it from here! Got a summer surprise! Here to sign for it? 3, how's this for an entrance? Sing your heart out! True delusion, right here, right now! Alrighty, I won't hold you! One, Suna! You can do it this time! Hop, skip, and a jump! The show isn't over yet! Keep up with the beat!